You just graduated college. You're confused about your future. Then, you see a TV commercial for Navy aviation. You've watched so many movies about military pilots that you finally decide you want to be one. You head to the Navy recruitment office. Here, you have to conquer the initial flight test, a written exam and a brutal simulator filled with complex calculations to see if you have the pilot's instinct. Then, you undergo a high-level physical exam for aviators. The doctor checks your health to a microscopic level, even measuring the length of your arms and legs with precision. Many fail these first two tests, but you pass. After that, you're sent to Rhode Island for 13 weeks of intense officer candidate school. The moment you step off the bus, your instructors are screaming in your face. You're given uncomfortable training gear, and your hair is cut in a way that looks terrible. You're immediately forced to run at the crack of dawn with other candidates. It continues with hundreds of push-ups in the mud, crawling under barbed wire, and learning to march until your feet are blistered. Even when you do everything right, you're still screamed at because the instructors aren't looking for weaklings. They're looking for leaders. After the heavy physical training leaves your clothes soaking wet, you're forced into the classroom in that exact state for academic lessons. Exhausted and uncomfortable, you're forced to memorize thick military manuals, naval history, and navigation. Every week there's a written exam. If you get a failing grade, you're out. Luckily, you always score the best in every test. In the final weeks, you enter leadership training. You're simulated as a platoon commander, leading a temporary platoon to conquer obstacles. If you're selfish or nervous, you fail instantly. Fortunately, you have natural leadership talent and score high in all leadership exercises. At week 13, you graduate. You're commissioned as a Navy officer. As a new officer, you pack your bags and fly to Florida for primary flight school. There, your brain is put to the test every single day. You study aerodynamics, radar reading, and gravity physics. The instructors don't yell like they did in officer school, but the workload is massive. You also have to pass water survival school, where you're placed in a simulator cockpit and flipped or submerged. Your only job is not to panic and find your way out. The passing grade is brutal. You must get a minimum of 90. If you fail, you're out. But you do it. You become one of the few who always scores above 90 and passes water survival. At the end of the school, there's no ceremony, just an official flight logbook handed to you as a sign that you can proceed to the next stage. After 3 months of primary flight school, you're still in Florida, but you're sent to Whiting Field for 6 to 8 months of initial flight training. You're done with thick books. You start flying real aircraft, not jets, but the T-6B Texan II propeller trainer. You fly every day. You learn takeoffs, landings, formation flying, and night flying. The screening here is brutal. Only students with the highest scores are allowed into the jet track. If your score is low, you're dumped into helicopters or transport planes. But you pass. Again, you get the highest score in your class, and you earn the right to advance to advanced flight training. You're sent to Meridian for 9 to 12 months. You're still in a trainer, but now it's the jet-powered T-45C Goshawk. The air pressure becomes extreme. You're taught dogfighting, tactical bombing, and simulated landings on land strips. You enter the final phase. You reach the most historic day of your life. You graduate and are officially pinned with the gold naval aviator wings on your left chest. You are now a fighter pilot. You're sent to transition squadron training. There, you learn to tame real fighter jets worth hundreds of millions of dollars, like the F-35 or F-18 Super Hornet. For months, you're taught to fight with advanced weapons systems, electronic warfare, and how to master complex radar. In the final months, you're given a dream sheet, a blank paper where you write your dream base location. You write down the F-35 as your dream jet and FDNF Japan as your dream station. You hand it to your commander. Your fate is decided by the Navy computer. You wait. Finally, because your report cards were always high and due to global needs, the Navy issues the final order. You're sent to Japan. You join the VFA 147 Argonauts. There, you operate your dream F-35 with a full weapons load. You start flying routine patrol missions in Asian waters. Aside from the base in Japan, you're stationed at sea on the USS George Washington. Your name is already on your F-35, like your own private jet. You start flying missions, intercepting enemy planes in open water, and the toughest one yet, you carry out a real bombing mission on an illegal enemy site. You've racked up over 500 flight hours. You get a recommendation letter from your squadron commander. You are the best pilot in your squadron. You're sent to Top Gun. You pack your bags and head to the arid valleys of Nevada. You aren't just an envoy. You're carrying the reputation of your squadron. If you fail, you embarrass them all. For 9 brutal weeks in Nevada, you're side by side with the best pilots from other squadrons. Every day is a brain burner. You learn advanced aerodynamics and enemy tactics. Between that, you keep flying. You fly your F-35 against the instructor's F-16 or F-18, which are painted like enemy planes. You train in close-range combat against your instructors. You aren't just taught how to fight, but how to teach, because the goal is to return and become a teacher for your squadron. The 9 weeks of hell in Nevada are over. There's no grand ceremony, just handshakes with the instructors and your peers. You successfully defended your reputation. All your tactical flight ratings and teaching exams rank you #1 out of all Navy representatives. You prepare to pack your bags and return to Japan to train your squadron. The Top Gun instructor calls you. He doesn't give a special congratulations. Instead, he hands you a black Top Gun hat and t-shirt. You've been chosen to become a Top Gun instructor. You accept. You don't go back to Japan. You stay in the Nevada desert and train the best pilots from every Navy squadron, every single year. You're branded as the hardest instructor to beat in close-range combat. You've become a legend at Top Gun, and you've graduated a long line of elite pilots.